Yo, what's going on, guys? So today I'll be helping you guys master the legendary Monaco circuit. Let's get it. Alright, so welcome to Monaco. So starting the lap, you will want to come all the way to the left hand side, and right as you hit this orange part of the barrier here, you'll want to turn it in second gear. You can downshift the first if you need a bit more rotation, but just aim to come as close to the wall as possible. Just touch the curb and then try to clip the rears and then open up the DRS zone. This is the only DRS zone of the track. Now on exit, you want to come as close to the right wall as possible to gain very precious lap time, and then stick close to the wall. Now into turn 1 we go. So it's a really tricky uphill braking zone. So once the Monaco circuit board on top disappears from your screen, you want to hit slam hard on the brake. You should be entering the corner around 7th gear, so you want to slam really hard on the brakes and just go down into 3rd gear. So at 3rd gear, you should be around here. Take note, there is a steep drop in track elevation at around here, which is around where you want to turn it. So if you start turning here and there's a drop in elevation, your fronts will instantly lock up, and that will result in you just going straight on into the barriers, and that would not be good. So you want to just ease off the brakes a lot and then just come as close to track limits as possible. You can use the entire track over here, so do make use of it, but be very careful not to carry too much speed and run out wide, or just get track limits in validation. And then up to the next corner we go. Just hard on the power. It's an uphill straight, so you just want to straight line this as much as possible, get as close to the wall as possible, and you should be able to get the power quite easily. So coming into here, you just want to brake where the zebra crossing starts, or if you can't actually see it, brake where this signpost starts. You can see on my right hand side. So for this corner, you actually want to take it as a little double apex. So you want to start off by going as wide as possible. Just hit the brakes at about 50 to 70%. You'll be entering about 7th gear as well. Just want to downshift down to 4th gear to get a bit of rotation. So as the curb on the side starts, you want to start rotating the car. And as you rotate the car, you should slowly become aligned with the inside wall. You should become parallel with this wall over here, and that will gain you the maximum amount of lap time possible. So now you are in 4th gear. Then you just want a quick dab on the brakes down into this corner right here. Get as close to the track as possible. It's personal preference. Sometimes I take it in 3rd gear, sometimes I take it in 4th gear. So it really depends on how fast you want to take it and how safe you want to take it. So just want to come as close to the wall as possible and run wide. So you want to take note here, be very careful on the throttle as there is a bump in track elevation. So if you get the power too hard, you actually spin and you'll be into the barriers, and that's not nice. So just you want to lift off slightly here and then come out wide, because there is a bump on the left hand side. So most people actually tend to come out wide and turn in for the next corner. So what I usually like to do in qualifying mode is there is a short run of distance where you are not turning in this section of track, and because the next section of the track, the next corner, requires a really stable car in terms of rear end stability. So usually I would like to adjust the brake bias just 2 clicks up to 54, but that is obviously personal preference, and if you want you can bring it up 52 brake bias, but obviously you do note that the rear would be really slippery on entry. So down to the next corner we go. You will be entering in 5th gear, and then once you arrive here at this white patch, or if you're feeling slightly more confident at this yellow board, slam on the brakes down into 2nd gear. So 2nd gear will ensure that you have a bit of stability on exit, but it will also induce a bit of understeer, so it's personal preference. You can take it in 1st gear if you want. So just down into 2nd gear, and here's where rear grip is really crucial, because if you have a lack of rear grip, or if your brake balance is like 52, then your rear will tend to snap out here, especially due to the fact that the track is dipping away from you. So it will usually result in your rear having a bit less grip, and your inside right tires will also have a bit less grip. So just come as close to the wall as possible and get on the power as hard as possible up to the Fairmont chicane. So the Fairmont chicane is actually where it differs from your life. So you'll be entering the Fairmont chicane in third gear. You want to brake just at the start of the aerodynamical border, but since you're coming at such a low speed, you actually don't want to slam on the brakes. Just use on the brakes until like 70%, as if you slam on the brakes really hard, it will result in you locking up. So just at about 70, hit the brakes at 70%. At this rate, you would want your rears to slide out. Like under braking, you want your rears to be quite unstable so that it actually drifts. So this actually allows you to carry as much speed as possible into the corner and mid corner, which is quite helpful for the chicane. But obviously in real life, drivers don't do this, as it will definitely murder their tires, and this requires a bit of skill to master, so you need to be very wary of that. Okay, so you want to just drift through, correct the exit, and around here you should be as close to the wall as possible, and then you just straighten out the wheel. Your car should be facing towards the Monaco border at the front, and then up the next corner we go. You should be entering at about second gear. If you want, you can downshift to first gear real quick, but once you cross this white line would be actually where you want to quick dab on the brakes and turn in. So this curb, you can actually take a lot of it, can use it all the way up to the boardwalk, but if you are a bit afraid of track limits, then you can just use a bit less as well. Definitely you'll bleed off some lap time, but it's not too crucial. So up to the end of sector 2, and this orange spot you want to brake and turn in. So this car is quite special. You turn in really early, so you just want to turn in as early as possible and come as close to this barrier as possible. Yep. So once you are out, the track on exit is actually much wider and you can afford to run wide, so that is why you turn in so early. So inside the tunnel, you just want to keep as tight of a line as possible. Just hug this inside barrier and set up for the chicane. So at this rate, you should be at 52 brake bars. If you want, you can change it to 53 or 54, but I personally feel that a bit of rear instability is quite beneficial for this corner. So entering this, try to get flash bombed, and down you should be entering a 6th or 7th gear, depending on your choice. And at the 100-meter board, you just want to slam on the brakes really hard. So this corner, you can actually split it into two parts. So the initial braking zone, you can actually quickly slam on the brakes down into 3rd gear and use your trail braking skills to ensure that you don't lock up, you go straight on. So you want to turn in quite late, but still not that late. Try not to clip the orange barrier on the inside while coming as close to it as possible. So once you pass it, in order to prevent you from clipping it, you want to straighten out your wheel and just aim for this inside curb here. And then this is the second part of the chicane where you actually want to get on the brakes again and slow it down into 2nd gear such that you can utilize as much of the curb as possible. So you just want to mount the entire thing and then keep a minimum speed as low as possible such that you are able to rotate the car. So how you want to rotate the car is actually you want to rotate it as early as possible such that your car is aligned on exit. So you can actually use a bit of the inside curb here, and as long as your car is aligned on exit, it will allow you to get a power hard and benefit you in terms of lap time. So after the next corner we go, you should be entering at about 5th gear. So this is the end of sector 2 and it's the shortest sector of F1 on the F1 calendar. So at a 50-meter board, or if you want to play things a bit more safer, you can use this white line over here. So this is just a quick flick of the wheel with a bit of a dab of the brake. So it is really tricky, requires a lot of driver confidence in order to not pin it into the wall, but you just want to flick the wheel inside and then get as close to the barrier as possible and run as wide as possible. Here, every inch of the track is crucial for lap time. So this corner is flat out, so you can just take it absolutely flat out, but beware, this next corner is approaches you really quickly. So at the push here, you just wanna smack the brake down into 4th or 3rd gear depending on personal preference, and then just wanna turn in, get as close to the inside barrier as possible. So we see in real life so many drivers just absolutely bin it by hitting their inside tires on this barrier, so obviously you want to be very careful. Then you just straighten this wheel exit and start turning to prepare for the exit. So actually bounce this curb quite a lot, but do be careful as it will launch you up in the air slightly and will cause you to lose a bit of traction. So yeah, you just want to be very careful about that. And so just get out of power as hard as possible. Try not to hit this barrier on exit, and then up to the final few corners of this racetrack. So into the 2nd final corner, just want to brake at around the F123 board here. So this is really an instinctual corner. So what usually I would like to do is keep as close to this right hand wall as possible, and then straighten up the wheel such that your entry is as straight as possible to allow you to brake as efficiently as possible. So you'll be going down into 2nd or 1st gear depending on personal preference, and once you are slowed down sufficiently, you start to rotate the car into the corner. So you just want to aim such that the car will just get as close to the inside wall as possible, and then get out of power. So after the final corner, we go just dab on the brake at this orange section, turn in and get as close to the wall as possible. Just want to hug the inside wall on exit, open up the DRS, and that is a lap of the Monaco street circuit. And now let's go for a hot lap. So let's now go through the setup. So for wings, we've gone for 50-50 as you need a lot of downforce for Monaco. Diff, we went for 50 on throttle and 55 off throttle. Suspension, it's minimum everything except for in the middle for front camber, negative 3.1 degrees. Suspension is 2010 for front rear suspension. Anti-roll bar is 4 and 6, and ride height is 35 and 39. So brakes, we went for 100% brake bias, brake pressure. It will be needed to stop for the novelle chicane and all those hard braking zones. And brake bias, we went for 53, but obviously you'll change this throughout the lap from 52, 54, etc. So tire pressures, we went for 52 for the fronts, 22.2 for the fronts, and 20 for the rears. You might want to add 1 for 23 in case of overheating, but this usually would be a good tire pressures. So that was the try again on Monaco. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and comment down what track I should try next. Till then, ciao!